So the tea that 112 just spilled about their time with Diddy at Bad Boy Records is absolutely scalding. Like, my jaw literally dropped when I heard this, and trust me, yours will too. Everything we thought we knew about the glamorous Bad Boy era, child, throw it all out the window.
But as they climbed the charts, the trouble started creeping in. It started in 1999. Puff got involved in some legal trouble, as Puff does, and the boys thought about jumping ship. Besides, they'd already got the taste of success without Puff.
It was around this time that the group members began to notice that the money was indeed funny. They enjoyed being at the top of the charts, traveling the world, and everyone knowing who they were, but their lifestyle didn't reflect that at all.
And you know what I'm saying? We know how to make certain stuff, but what makes us different? He looks at me and say, yeah.
I am literally shaking as I tell you this. The stories these boys revealed aren't just shocking, they're absolutely devastating. We're talking about midnight blizzard confrontations that'll give you chills, demands that'll make your head spin, and the kind of control that belongs in a psychological thriller, not a record label. Like, prepare yourselves, because this tea is about to change everything you thought you knew about Bad Boy Records. Picture this nightmare scenario, dolls. It's 1 a.m., there's a full-on blizzard raging outside like Mother Nature's having a whole tantrum, and these poor boys have been grinding in the studio all night long. They're exhausted, frozen, and finally decide it's time to call it quits. But honey, the universe had other plans, because guess what happens at 4 a.m.?
Remember a time when we thought we were finished and we left the studio around 1 o'clock? It was snowing out, a damn blizzard. At 4 or 5 in the morning, all of a sudden, bang, 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 he remembered. Diddy is at the damn door, knocking it down. He came in and sat down and was like, "Turn on all the lights. Y'all asleep? Y'all are happy with that record?"
Diddy. I cannot even process this level of audacity. There's Diddy standing there like some music industry phantom, demanding they turn those lights back on and get right back to work. No consideration for their rest, their well-being, or the fact that there's literally a blizzard outside. The disrespect of it all. But wait, because this story gets even more wild. On another freezing night after these talented souls had been working their hearts out in the studio, they're trying to make their way home through another snowstorm. And what does Mr. Diddy do? He casually cruises by in his luxurious Mercedes, honks his horn like he's saying, "Hey bestie." Zrenya waves like it's a beautiful spring day and just leaves them there. In the freezing cold, the absolute nerve. It was crystal clear who was running this show, and honey, it wasn't the artists putting in all the work.
That day was a huge snowstorm, more than 4 kids from Atlanta had ever seen. As we're leaving, Puff is leaving too, in a Benz with chains on the tires and everything. He rolls down the window and is just like, "I'll holler at y'all." And he drives off.
But hold on to your wigs, because this next part will have you gasping. Diddy would show up at their place at the most ungodly hours, 2 a.m., 3 a.m., doesn't matter to him, just repeatedly buzzing their door like a man possessed, dragging these poor boys back to the studio when they were already walking zombies. My heart absolutely breaks hearing Q Parker's desperate plea. "Puff, we got school in an hour."
Remember Diddy making the group members work late into the night many times in the early days of their career. So many times we'd be asleep after a full day of recording, and he'd pull up in front of our apartment at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, ringing our apartment buzzer down in the lobby.
Now let me spill some extra hot tea about how this whole situation started. When Diddy first laid eyes on 112, most of these precious babies were just 16 or 17 years old. Instead of meeting them in a professional setting like any decent human being would, where do you think he insisted on meeting these teenagers? A club! I am literally losing my mind thinking about this. Like, signing to Bad Boy Records is a huge deal. You'd expect an office, a studio, literally anywhere professional. But no, honey, he wanted these children stepping into his world, his way, on his terms.
Diddy got a hold of it and liked what he heard on tape, but needed to hear it in person. So, during a business trip to Atlanta, he met up with the boys at a local club for an on-the-spot audition.
Yeah, he liked us. Well, actually, we sang for Puffy in the parking lot of a club in Atlanta called 112, which is also where we got the name 112 from.
And surprise, surprise, Diddy became a fan as well. He saw a money-making opportunity and sealed the deal.
And let's get real for a hot minute. Was this really just some innocent introduction to the nightlife? Because I'm thinking this whole club scene was a calculated test. Diddy was checking if these young souls would bend to his will and adapt to his fast-paced, high-stakes lifestyle. Putting teenage artists in adult spaces from day one? That's not just suspicious, that's straight-up concerning.
Has been a significant force in the music industry. There have been claims by certain artists regarding disputes over rights and challenging experiences.
The tea gets even hotter, y'all. Michael Keith came right out and said they started questioning whether Diddy's methods were about dedication or pure domination. The mental and physical toll was beyond anything you could imagine, and these talented boys were questioning if their dreams were worth this nightmare. But wait, because here's the part that'll make your blood boil. Despite all their chart-topping hits and endless success, their bank accounts were looking tragic. They're out here being global superstars, but living nothing like the lavish bad boy image we all saw. Make it make sense, honey.
You know, the type of deal we had signed, you know what I'm saying, and really understanding how, at that point, how it affected us financially, because in the beginning, like, we kind of knew what the deal was. We kind of somewhat knew what we were signing.
But guess who's drowning in debt? Slim. He's reportedly knee-deep in over $540K of debt, and those royalty checks? Gone. Despite his hit songs, he only made $3K according to the JasmineBrand.com. But wait, Q Parker from 112 has joined the bankruptcy club. Gossip reports he got just $1,000 in the bank. After being sued for using the 112 name, Q filed for bankruptcy as his house went into foreclosure.
After years of this absolute madness, 112 finally reached their breaking point. When contract negotiations came around, they gathered all their courage and made the boldest move, signing with Def Jam. And honestly, we love this journey for them.
But the real kicker came when they found out there were issues with the paperwork at Bad Boy. The contracts were all jacked up, making them feel like they were being played.
But child, the mess doesn't stop there. For years, and I mean years, none of these incredibly talented artists owned their own music. Can you even imagine creating masterpieces, turning them into worldwide hits, only to watch all the control and coins flow straight into Diddy's pockets? The absolute audacity of it all.
Right now, how the publishing work? Didn't he give them their publishing back after it was all basically sucked dry?
So, yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, so they say if he gave it back, then that means he didn't take it then. So
no, he took it. Took all the money out of it and gave it back.
Sales were high.
Now here's where things take an interesting turn. In September 2023, Diddy suddenly has this change of heart and decides to hand back music rights to Bad Boy artists. Like, why now? After all these years of holding on to those rights like they were his last breath?
So why do you think Diddy did this?
There was a thing with, a conversation, and I would say with myself, Puff, our team, and, he basically kept his word. That this was a conversation years ago.
And just when you think this story couldn't possibly get any messier, hold on to your seats because this next part is wild. Slim, the lead singer of 112, tried to pull a fast one and trademark the group's name behind his bandmates' backs. The betrayal, the drama, the scandal.
He wrote, "I trademarked 112 in 2018, 8 years after it was abandoned. Anyone could have done it. For me, 112 is a priority, so business-wise, it made sense to protect what I risked everything for."
Some people are saying Slim was just looking out for number one, but others think he learned these sneaky power moves straight from Diddy himself, and maybe that's exactly why Diddy chose him as lead singer in the first place. The layers to this drama are endless. Fast forward to 2020, and the situation got even messier with legal battles over trademark rights literally tearing the group apart. It's like they just couldn't escape the dark cloud of their past. And now, with all these shocking lawsuits coming at Diddy from every direction, including that absolutely horrifying one about a 17-year-old, it's becoming painfully clear that 112's story might just be the first chapter in a much darker book.
P. Diddy behind bars and indicted on federal and racket allegations. But those aren't the only accusations Diddy's facing. In fact, there are dozens of allegations dating as far back as the 90s.
And honey, we need to talk about Usher for a hot minute. His name keeps popping up in all this Diddy drama like a recurring character in a twisted TV show. Not many people know this piping hot tea, but Usher was actually the mastermind behind connecting 112, Kim Porter, and Faith Evans with Diddy. Then in 2009, suddenly there's 15-year-old Justin Bieber being introduced to Diddy through Usher's connection. I mean, are we seeing a pattern here, or are we seeing a pattern?
Diddy's always had a weird fixation on Justin Bieber, if we have noticed in the past, because I have. But yes, I do believe that Justin Bieber is one of the victims.
You're how old at the time?
Well, we were like 16, 17, 16. See, we were still in high school, so a lot of the songs you hear on the first album, we didn't have a deal. We were still in school.
The more you look at this whole situation, the clearer it becomes. Diddy's approach wasn't just about signing talented artists, it was about maintaining absolute control. Those endless late-night studio sessions, those inappropriate club meetings instead of proper business settings. Was it really about mentorship and guidance? Or was it something far more calculated and concerning? Y'all, this isn't just about 112 anymore. This is about exposing a whole system in the music industry that needs to be checked. How many other talented artists are out there right now, trapped in shady contracts and dealing with controlling bosses? It makes you question everything about the industry, doesn't it? So spill your thoughts in the comments below. Did this shocking revelation change how you see Diddy and the whole Bad Boy Records legacy? Don't forget to smash that subscribe button and stay tuned, because honey, we've got more jaw-dropping industry stories coming your way that'll have you absolutely gagged. Trust and believe, you do not want to miss what we're serving up next.